The last stop on Blackwood Road. On a cold October night, Ethan Brooks was driving home through the forests of Northern America after visiting his sick mother. The GPS suddenly rerouted him onto an old, forgotten highway called Blackwood Road. There were no streetlights, no houses, only endless trees and thick fog. As the rain poured harder, Ethan noticed an old woman standing by the roadside. She wore a faded gray dress and held an antique lantern. Against his better judgment, he stopped. "Can you take me to the last stop?" she asked in a soft, trembling voice. She climbed into the back seat without opening the door. Trying to stay calm, Ethan drove in silence. Every time he looked in the rearview mirror, the woman seemed closer, though she hadn't moved. "Where exactly is the last stop?" Ethan finally asked. She whispered, "You'll know when we arrive." Minutes later, his GPS went black. The radio crackled with static before a voice spoke. "If you love Midnight Whispers, then do let me know where you are watching from. Share your state and country in the comments. Follow my page, The Midnight Whispers, for more interesting stories." "Driver, don't look behind you." A chill ran down Ethan's spine. Ignoring the warning, he glanced into the mirror. The old woman was gone. Instead, a pale figure with hollow black eyes was sitting beside him in the passenger seat, smiling with rows of jagged teeth. Ethan slammed on the brakes. The car skidded across the wet pavement and stopped inches from a broken bridge that disappeared into a deep ravine. His heart pounded. If he hadn't stopped, he would have driven straight into the darkness. Relieved, Ethan stepped out of the car. That's when he noticed dozens of rusted crosses along the roadside. Each one had the name of someone who had died on Blackwood Road. One cross looked new. It already had his name carved into it. Panic took over. He jumped back into the car and sped away. In the rearview mirror, every cross was now occupied by shadowy figures staring silently at him. The lantern woman stood among them. She raised one hand and smiled. Ethan finally reached the highway just before sunrise. The nightmare was over, or so he thought. When he got home, he found muddy footprints leading from his front door to his bedroom. On his pillow rested the same antique lantern. A note was tied to its handle. It read, "Thank you for bringing me home." The lantern suddenly lit by itself. The lights in the house went out. From somewhere upstairs came the slow sound of footsteps. 1, 2, 3. They stopped outside Ethan's bedroom door. A gentle knock echoed through the darkness. Then the woman's familiar voice whispered, "It's your turn to drive." The doorknob began to turn. The next morning, Ethan Brooks was gone. His car was later discovered abandoned on Blackwood Road. The engine was still warm. The driver's door was open, and beside the road stood an old woman holding a glowing lantern, waiting patiently for the next traveler who made the mistake of stopping.